This is Journeys of Empowerment. More than a podcast, it's a circle of belonging, where stories become turning points. I'm Michiel Sujit-Rijt, and here we don't just share experience. We realign with what matters. Before we dive in, a quick shout out to our very first believer and sponsor, Neotopia. Operation leads know the drill. You roll out new processes, stack on training, tighten KPIs, and still something doesn't stick. The truth? It's rarely the process, it's behavior. Neotopia helps you solve the gap. In the awareness workshop, you'll discover why solid processes often break down in execution, why learning fades instead of lasting, and how to build teams that own behavior, not just follow the rules. Because change that drains your people won't last, but change that shifts behavior moves everyone forward. Ready to lead differently? Visit neotopia.nl. What if the boldest thing you could build wasn't just a business, but a life that reflects your whole self? In this episode, I had the chance to sit down with Alexandra van Viegen, founder of Onboardly, a fast-growing SaaS startup that's redefining customer success. But beneath the product is a deeper mission: restoring trust, building relationships, and leading with values that don't get left behind after the sale. We explored why momentum breaks after the yes and how to fix it. What it means to lead from trust, not titles. The quiet power of pausing, listening, and choosing yourself. And how motherhood, immigration, and reinvention shaped her view of success. As Alexandra shared, when I show up for myself, I show up more fully for everyone else, especially my kids. And one line, simple but strong, stayed with me long after. I'm proud, I bet on myself, and I'm proud I'm learning how to enjoy the ride. Let's begin. I just pressed play and welcome Alexandra to Journeys of Empowerment.
Thank you.
I was so much looking forward to this conversation. And we've been introduced by our mutual friend, and I believe he's a coach or coaching involved in your company, Walter Rebergen from SaaS Masters. And he said, and when he asks something and it's mutual, we just do it. We just say, we don't question it. We just say, okay. So he said, Michiel, you have to meet Alexandra for your podcast. Of course, I could have asked, okay, why? And why for the podcast? And who's Alexandra? And but I didn't. And I'm so happy I didn't. So welcome to Journeys of Empowerment.
Thank you for having me. And yes, Walter is on my advisory board. And I've also been on his podcast before he was an advisor. So I asked him afterwards.
Yeah, cool.
Also, I met him via a mutual, so Art Biker.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to every SaaS person in the ecosystem in the Netherlands, and that's been very helpful to my journey. So super happy to be here in your studio. Yeah. Really, really happy to talk about a little bit what I'm doing, but the underlying why. Our first conversations have been so warm, and so I'm ready to go.
Let's go. So let's start with you're a founder, and as a founder, what path are you on?
I'm a founder. I'm in the early stage. That would be the path. But of course, as a founder, as a visionary, I'm only getting started. So I'm at the very beginning, but I feel like I'm planting the seeds for that beautiful tree forest at the end already. Like I can see it. I see success. And so what you mentioned before we started recording is just continues to open my eyes up to possibilities.
And what is the name of the company?
My company name is Onboardly.
Yes.
We help companies stop losing momentum after the sale.
Ooh, so after the commit stage.
After the commit stage, yes. So I would say post-sale.
Post-sale. And what kind of companies are you helping?
We help all sorts of companies, but because we are early stage, narrowing down our ideal customer profile, we focus on SaaS businesses at the moment. So the ones selling software.
And what was the initial thesis behind it?
The thesis behind it is that this is broken and can be fixed, and it can be fixed in a way that I see it strategically, with communication, with breaking down of silos, with treating people how you want to be treated. And that was like the initial thought of kind of creating teams together. So before I go too philosophical, like on the philosophy side, Onboardly is helping with customer onboarding. So my definition is onboarding being the strategic bridge between promise and product. So where the customer expectations meet the real outcomes. And we don't consider it as a checklist, but something that is fluid, it's dynamic, it's not static. And it's something that, if done correctly, it's where your growth begins.
When do customers of your customers experience the first impact delivered via or through Onboardly? In what stage of their buying process?
I would say in their buying process, it would be literally after the signature. And that's when I begin the post-sale experience. And today, it's primarily done in spreadsheets, manually, a bit chaotic. And Onboardly helps keep the momentum and takes away the mess. So we do leverage AI, but we do it in a way that's still human-centered. So it's not completely automated, where you unfortunately just get to not see any of this and an agent is doing it for you. We still very much believe that this is a human experience, and so a human should be involved in curating how you run through the motions.
And when you say broken, because that came out very fast, it's broken. To prevent assumptions, what do you mean by broken? So what are you trying to fix then?
I like that. Double-clicking into the broken. Imagine this. You are a successful software company. You have a lot of successful people on your team. So you have a sales AE, a sales advisor, or an account executive who has just signed for you. So for your idea from your head, now you have a customer. But what happens is that sales then sometimes forgets or doesn't put enough information into what we call a handover to the next team. And so when your customer is then flung to the next person to help them bring value and help them get them to success, they are done in a way that can be done better. And that's where I start with the brokenness, where perhaps you can share the information that sales had already, kind of like starting with the trust to the customer and understanding why they bought your products, the jobs to be done with the product, the value that they intend to get out of it. Everything has already been said to that salesperson. That salesperson may or may not transfer that information to then your customer success manager or to your onboarding specialist. And that is a broken piece of the chain. I think what also is broken behind the scenes is the trust continuity. So you're speaking with John. You're super excited to sign with this very successful company that is about to bring your company to more value. And then you're flung from John to Lisa, but you don't know anything about Lisa, and Lisa doesn't know anything about you other than your name and your company. And now you're feeling frustrated as a customer who has just spent all of this money because you expect for you not to repeat yourself so soon, right? You expect that there is some kind of process that you are able to lucratively, it's like sit back from the customer perspective and get to value. But that is just not done. And I've seen this with very successful companies like 300, 400 million ARR, annual recurring revenue, where they just see their successful customers, but they don't ask any other questions outside of that. So I led a team of machine learning engineers in the corporate environments. So my background is in mathematics and machine learning engineering. And the teams that I led, we focused on creating churn prediction models. And it was always, what are the customers doing at the end? So the product usage at the end, who's signing in at the end, like a lot of end, but no one focused on the beginning. And so when I started to ask questions, well, why did they sign with us in the first place? The answers that I was receiving were lackluster. They were very subpar. And there was no data for me to then support the answers that I did receive. And I thought that that was then broken as well. So just started ideating for quite a while, but the leap was made just a few months ago.
Ooh, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. It feels scary. There's a lot of emotions around my leap, but the main one that feels the best is the excitement. And so I know that this will be a success. And that's what keeps me going. Like, that's the motivation I have. That's the momentum. The companies that I've worked for that have been super successful came from the idea in an entrepreneur's head. So that gives me inspiration. That gives me momentum. That gives me drive to know that when my company is super successful, it came from an idea in my head. And that's, to me, gets me up every morning and allows me to continue to push.
Beautiful. And it's obvious. We can, I can see it. Sorry, not all the listeners will see this, but you can see it. It comes from an intrinsic motivation. You mentioned quite a important underlying value, trust. And that, I believe, is one of the most important ingredients for a real customer success all the way, also after the commit stage, right? And as we are trained, I'm a trained revenue architect. As we learned, it's promise on impact. It's prioritizing on an impact, and then making the first impact should be right away delivered in the onboarding stage. And before that, you are promising and you're prioritizing on promise. And I think that's really also help make. Are you familiar with the bow tie model? And yeah, that's it's amazing. It and it's also unbelievable that it isn't there. Mm-hmm. Do you believe you are pioneering as well, or are you a startup entrepreneur, or are you also pioneering?
I have to say that I feel like I'm pioneering because this is how I'm positioning my company. I feel like I'm pioneering. I feel like I am doing it a bit differently. So I do definitely see that there are onboarding companies on the market, but I don't.
Customer onboarding.
Customer onboarding, a very important distinction.
Yeah.
So not in the HR tech space. No. Although still very important. But I am doing it a little bit differently because I'm focusing on relationships. I'm focusing on trust. I'm focusing on habits. So these behavioral features or signals that the other ones maybe don't put a lot of emphasis on. I'm not saying that they're not there, but the emphasis is not. And I think that should get me to success. That should help me differentiate from my competitors. And the formula that I have with habits, that's not necessarily also new, but the fact that I am literally like embedding it inside of my business to get to success, to make it like a repeatable motion that you can ping down to a formula or formulas, will allow you to see success on maybe a more frequent basis, because it's not, I don't know, like, or that person who led that sale is gone and then you have no idea what their magic sauce was. There'll always be a little bit like a level of lack of understanding, but I don't want it to come from zero. Like, I think you should have a basis of, okay, we've got the 60% of it. The rest of the 40 can come from X, like there always should be some underlying math,
of course,
to some of these things to repeat.
Yes, and repeat. And and habits and recurring impact is recurring revenue is the result of recurring impact. I think it's a very healthy model where you're working with. What kind of customers? Can you a little bit more briefly tell us about your ICP? So we're in the podcast, so maybe people are listening and think, hey, this sounds interesting. Who should it resonate most at this moment in this stage of your company?
I read last week that ICP is also not static. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that in my early stages as well, where I'm speaking to companies that have 1 to 2 million euros in revenue already, and ones who also would like to get there. I think that the most important underlying makeup of my ideal customer profile are companies who want to accelerate their growth, and they want to do it in a way that provides an experience for their customers to really not only understand their product, but also the underlying promise of this is how we will help you succeed. So to be very rigid, I would say companies that are definitely selling software, because that's my bread and butter, that's my background, so that's something that I can relate to. So you're selling software, you are the ARR, the annual recurring revenue, is not so important, but you do have other tools in place that I can leverage to pull information from. Mm-hmm. So you have maybe already an existing customer relationship management software that I can leverage to pull out signals, but you want to grow. So it's going to sound really immature in a response, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm happy to speak with...
It doesn't. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm happy to. And I would invite you to stay at that sort of stance. Because the moment we think we know, especially in a rapidly changing market, especially also for SaaS, every context is shaking and changing right now. So if I have a founder who's only a few months ahead and saying, yeah, this is the ICP and I know it all, nobody's going to believe it.
Okay.
So please, we never know. Okay. And the world is changing rapidly. At first, AI native. What is AI native? Now you hear it every day. It's now so, and SaaS is only 12, 13, 14 years old. So it's still young. And stay hungry, stay foolish with that man over there. I say.
Check. Hey, Steve. Steve. Pointing to Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Hey, and you mentioned the leap from corporate stability. Why should you?
Why should I leap?
Yeah. Why did you take the leap? You had, as I can imagine, quite a comfortable salary, comfortable situation, doing what you're maybe trained or love to do. So why the leap all the way to the bumpy road with a lot of unknown uncertainty of the world of startups? So the
position that I was in was a very comfortable one, but it was one that was also coming to an end from the corporation themselves. So I had the opportunity to take a lot of time for myself to think about what my next steps would be. Would I then hop from that end and then to another organization where I, again, prove a lot of value, build a lot of cool data products, and then what, right? Or do I start to build these data products for myself? I think that in the beginning, it came from my own background, right? So I am American. I have been living in the Netherlands for almost 10 years. And I've been having a lot of fun, but I had to start from zero when I arrived, because the job that I had in the United States was just not transferable to here. So then the title was the same, systems engineer, but the responsibilities, what I was doing, everything was completely different. In the United States, a systems engineer in my environment was a consultant, one that looks at the systems of businesses themselves and provides recommendations and helps build. So systems thinking. I thought everybody had the same definition of systems engineer at that point, so I applied to systems engineering jobs in the Netherlands, but that was behind the computer. So I feel like there's always been points in my career, whether it's from a company that has decided to part ways, to me parting ways with the company, points where I'm just like, well, what do I do next? And I think I had that multiple times, even when I was like very successful, to what do I do next? But I never had enough pause to think I could do this for myself. And so the time really played into this, where I had a significant amount of time, also because I was on maternity leave. Mm-hmm. So that time, in the sense of not having to work for a company, but having to, of course, work in the family. So it's still work, but it's a different type of work, allowed me to really pick up a book, read a book, learn something, and it clicked. It was just like, why not? Like, why not try that idea that you had in your head that you wanted to do inside of a corporation? Why not try that for yourself outside? What's stopping you? So, roundabout answer, that got me there.
Let me guess. That book was Lean Startup.
That book was Lean Startup.
Yeah, am I correct?
Yeah. I read quite a few books during this time.
And now you're carrying it everywhere you go.
I do have it. Oh, that's how you said it. That's in my bag. Yeah, I'm rereading it.
I saw it when you were opening your bag. I saw, hey, Lean Startup.
Yeah, I'm rereading it right now to help me with my next steps in the phase of my journey.
And how did that book help you? What sparked? What did it spark that you... that this was the moment for you to take that leap?
I think a lot of things sparked it, but just reading it just reading the words of someone who's done it, I think also just helped. Like, it just kind of opened up a door of possibility. Mm-hmm. Period. Like, so I learned a lot from the book in terms of how to approach starting, so the validation pieces to all the way going from 0 to 1. But it was, for me, reading the book just had me thinking about, this person has been in this situation where I am today and just started, just took action. Why can't I do that? And then that's really like the underlying basis of all the books that I read, all the podcasts I listen to. These people have been in the position that I'm in today, and they just kept going. So I just need to keep going. Mm. And I think action speaks louder than words. So I'm actioning now exactly what I'm learning from these books. So retaining a lot of it, but knowing that if I just read it and retain and don't do anything about it, I'm not going to get to the next level. I'm not going to open that next door. So now I'm also taking the action.
That's maybe an interesting question for it here and the now. What can you define a? Can you give me the definition of a successful day as an entrepreneur in your in the stage where you are? A lot going on, a lot of uncertainty, jiggling a lot of balls, no departments to rely on. If you're going to look to the back, you look to yourself. If you go to the right, you look at yourself. You have to do it. What is your definition of a successful day?
As an entrepreneur, early in my journey, a successful day for me looks like a call. So I'm going to do the professional successful day, because I can mix in my personal, but that's always a success, like with my kids, for example. Mm. But if I think about a day successful in my professional journey as an entrepreneur, not mixing in the personal, then I would say it's a start with a call from my advisor. So from Walter, just telling him about where I am with my deal cycles, talking to him a little bit about what I faced and where I would like to go, him listening, giving me feedback. I think about it, we end the call. I jump into some customer calls, and the customer calls help me in terms of the discovery calls that I have, because they're telling me about their problems, and I know I can solve them. So I'm really excited to hear that what I've built could potentially help them. And that is a success in of itself, but it helps me along this day being successful. So the call from my advisor in the morning, the next one being a discovery call where I'm listening, actively listening and figuring out that, hey, I can help this company, to me then hopping on another call and showing a demo to a different company that I've already had a discovery call with, showing them now how I can help them visually, iterating on that process. And then towards the end of the day, having the time to either open up a book. I haven't done this yet. That's why I'm adding this to my successful book. In this very busy day, to me, this is a busy day with several customer calls. Opening up a book to then learn more would be a success, so that I can then apply that to whatever calls I have next with the customers. And then closing the computer, doing it all again. I really, really, really enjoy speaking to my customers. And when I get wins from my customers, let's say it's a deal that's being signed, it's a DocuSign signature that's being sent over, this feels good, but the best part is me actually helping them. So obviously as a business, the DocuSigns need to go out, the signatures need to be done, but hearing how I can help them is what's really propelling me to what I see as successful days for me, because I know that idea that I had in my head is becoming a reality, because now I'm actually, again, taking action. I'm going to solve this. Just wait. I'll show you how. But that is success to me.
Beautiful. And in private, especially with your children, right?
Yeah.
How old are they?
I have 3 children. I have an 8-month-old. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. So success in the personal is being able to take them to school. I could almost get like emotional about this, but that's why too I decided to do more for myself in terms of this entrepreneurial journey, because I'm doing it for them as well, right? They are pivotal pieces in my journey. And so success, being able to take them to school, dropping them off, and then coming back and then having what I just described to you as a professional day, or taking them to daycare because one goes to daycare, that is success. And then picking them up, okay, sure, but they're exhausted, and so am I. So the pickups are less glorious, but
it's challenging, right? You come with a head like spinning around.
We both are.
Children are also happy to see you, but also had a day you weren't part of, and then
running
around like kips on de kop.
Ja, precies. Dus dat. And so it is a lot of I love my kids dearly, and I like pushing myself forward. Feels good because I know that they are instrumental to why I'm doing this in the first place. So that pause that I talked about having, it's because I was creating life, and I had the moment to pause and realize what I was creating and how much power I have.
Alexandra, that pops up the question. Envision yourself, we're 20 years ahead, and what would you love them to say they're most proud of seeing from their mother?
I think I would be most proud 20 years from now that they say that their mother chose herself. And that sounds counterintuitive as a mother, but even when I had my first child and my whole life was just turned upside down, right? You go from a young, living in the city, going out whenever you want, taking flights, like literally doing whatever you want, to then having the responsibility of creating life and then making sure that life stays alive. Like there's just so much lots of elements added to going from you being by yourself to then being responsible for another human. I always mentioned with the groups that I created with other mothers, like, don't forget yourself. Because at the end of the day, yes, you are a mother, but you're also Alexandra. And Alexandra is someone who also should be taken care of and should be kept alive. So I think that I love being a mother, but I think that if I show up as my best self, then I'll be even a better mother. And so that is what I hope that they see, that, you know, mom still took care of herself. She took us here and there and like showed us this and that, and like the things don't matter, but like the time that I spend with them is only made richer because of the time that I was able to pour into myself. So it sounds very counterintuitive again and very selfish, but it is something that you have to choose. You have to choose making this life greater for them by being good to yourself.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. And for me, that hits the nerves. I have a mantra, and it's extreme self-care without being selfish. So this is 100% spot on, extreme self-care without being selfish, right? I think it's a very good leading by example. And we were talking about, and you said, yeah, but I'm also Alexandra. What are your values in which you navigate through life? What is important for you?
It's important to treat people how you want to be treated. I see you over there. Something hit.
You think something hit?
I see something is resonating with you now. And it came from your mantra.
Yeah, the extreme self-care without being selfish. Yeah, it does. What hit me is that I'm very imaginary, and I already was envisioning your children saying that, and that they witnessed mom being extreme, taking care extreme of herself without being selfish. So that's what's happening. It's interesting that you saw that you noticed that. Yeah. Yeah, that brings me back to my childhood. And I think I really believe in self-care. And I really wish for everybody to not feel guilty. Maybe that's what you saw happening. And also not feel the urge to say, it might sound selfish. We don't have to. Self-care should be a default, and we should allow ourselves and embrace it by allowing it to be our default mode. How can we care for others if we can't care for ourselves?
Yes.
First, right? And we hear a lot about that example. We're in a plane, we're going down, and then the oxygen masks, and then you have I have a blended family of a lot of daughters, and then the youngest one is at the end of my arm reach, and you see her coughing and almost blue, but yeah, you still have to put on your own mask, and what are you doing? Of course, it sounds like an interesting example, but in real life, we feel so much like Jay Shetty would say, OEOs, obligations, expectations, and opinions of others, which prevents us from, and which is in the way or blocking to allow our default state to be our default state, to take proper care of yourself. So I hope, my wish is that that you don't ever feel the necessity anymore to sort of apologizing, sort of, for taking proper care of yourself. You should. It's your birthright, right? So that's what's happening.
Oh, thank you.
Values. What are your values? But thank you for addressing it. It was happening.
I think it's beautiful, and it's something that, that I should just struggle with sometimes internally, because I'm American, but then we could talk about hours double clicking into cultural differences and how that also plays on treating yourself with love and how. But values, I think I have a lot. But the ones that resonate, again, I was grown up with the principle of just treating people how you want to be treated. And that, I think, is also now resonating within my business. Yeah. And the product itself, which is interesting, which I put together, but it took me a little bit of time to realize the common centricities between the two. But it is something that is with me.
Do you believe that unconsciously that value drove you to feel so much resonance in what you're doing right now and what you're trying to achieve?
Absolutely.
Treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Because that's a powerful. Is it somewhere in your mission statement already in bacon, and it's so close to you?
In the beginning, when I was just first starting out, I had a little bit of that in in my marketing. And I laugh about it because I did a whole bunch before I even really knew the exact direction. But I had a feeling of where I wanted to take it. I would say that in my customer calls, it comes across. And it comes across also in my story. So speaking to being a leader of teams that had engineers, but then I needed to take their knowledge and take that to C-suite. And then me thinking, okay, well, I can take what this person is saying, I can translate it, but how great would it be if this person just said it themselves? Because now I'm not playing telephone anymore. I'm literally just bringing in the person who gave me this information, this juice, this richness. And I want to put them at the table because they can probably speak to it better than I can. But then them being asked to leave the room, or me getting a Slack on the side that says, what is this person doing here? Then I'm thinking, okay, there's something going on here. I didn't love it. No. I loved that I was in the spaces to be able to, again, invite those people to the room, but I didn't love that they were being ushered out the door. And I realized that they didn't have the context. So that's also what my tool provides, is the context, because there's a lot of smart people who speak to your customers every day. But there are some cases, not in all organizations, but in some organizations where that very smart individual can't speak the language of the business. So they can't translate what their customer is saying to them to your Q3 or to your goals of Q4. That just doesn't exist because they just weren't taught it. So the context layer is missing, also a little bit of the learnings. And why not create an environment where they can leverage what they already know and just put it in a perspective that gets them to the next level? Because that's also how you unlock your next level as an IC. You can eloquently speak to the goals of the business, how you intend to get there. Very, very normal things for us. Okay, how are we going to unlock the next stages of our revenue? These are normal to us, to me, being in a data position, a leader in a business, but it's not normal to everybody. But it can be if it's taught.
Are you also thinking about providing then training, or is it is the education via the software?
The education is kind of unlocked via the software with the signals that I'm providing and just how the signals are displayed to you with context. In terms of the training, it's not particularly there yet. Perhaps on the roadmap it's there. But in a personal perspective, this is something that I also want to unlock with others, data literacy. And that's, again, I think one of my core principles as well. AI, artificial intelligence, is moving incredibly fast. So fast that I myself find myself falling behind. Imagine this being someone who is in their 60s or even in their late 30s, like, it doesn't matter the age primarily, but like 50, not in this business.
Just became 52.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. But just like equipping them with the information that they need, that everyone has, that's also getting them to that aha moment. And I love that. I love, like, I have so many, like, I have a niche, if you allow it, a niche story where I was speaking to somebody in the Netherlands, and I won't name names, but I was speaking to somebody in the Netherlands who was about to go to, like, a trivia night. And they mentioned that they can take their phones with them. And because I was thinking, like, how does that work in 2025? Like, going to a trivia night, everybody with a phone, like, everybody will just ChatGPT it or insert your LLM here, your Claude it or whatever. And the person was like, what is that?
Oh, wow.
I braced myself for impact. I was completely floored. I'm thinking, what do you mean, what is that? And then that's when it clicked that I was in this bubble. Everyone around me, everyone who I associate myself with knows what this tool is, because everybody who's around me using it. Yeah. But not everybody knows what it is or how to use it. So you may know what it is because you've read about it or that you've seen it in a headline, but how to prompt, how to get the information that you need, how to apply it, how to take action, how to make it automate, like, that part is another layer even to your knowledge of what the system is. And so I do have on the background another idea of how to equip people to get their knowledge up in these environments.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I noticed something. I read a lot of books, and I've read books right now about the whole explosion and the in AI, so also the containment challenge and so forth and so on. Mustafa written a book about it. The CEO of Microsoft AI, but what I started noticing is, hey, but can I find some books which helps me understand, to align it also where it all started and where it came from? So I started reading the books of Ray Kurzweil. From Create a Mind, and now reading another book of him, and it helps me to also understand, okay, but where does it come from? Which stages of development in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s it all came from, which makes it more foundational, understandable, where we are right now and how rapidly it's moving.
Yes,
it's a sort of grounding the AI explosion we're in right now. Beautiful. So that's something in the back of your mind where you're thinking about maybe sharing with the world.
Yeah, solutioning around. I immediately bought that person a subscription for the year, but I can't do that with everybody, right? So I'm building a business. But just access knowledge. That's the underlying truth, and that's what I'm building around. But I know that can be done in multiple ways. And so as I'm starting my entrepreneurial journey, that could be one thing that either I invest in for someone else to build, but it definitely needs to be there. It needs to be in the space. So keeping my eye also in tune to that.
Accessible, available, affordable for many to understand. Create common language, common ground. Better understanding.
The future is now.
The future is now. What do we have to understand and know about you to understand where does that intrinsic motivation and drive and fuel comes from?
What do you have to know about me?
Or about your journey?
I come from a family of immigrants. I myself immigrated to the Netherlands. The word expat is used often for people coming from the United States, but I immigrated here. I now have a Dutch passport. I'm now Dutch.
Your Dutch is also... We kunnen gewoon weer in Nederlands praten.
Ja, we kunnen gewoon Nederlands gaan. Ja, ik spreek ook Nederlands. Ja, flex. But I come from a long lineage of builders, of people who do, people who take action. And it was also in my bubble that I thought everybody did this. Right? Everybody is building, everybody is taking action, everybody is very busy. This is normal. That's not normal. My mom is a teacher, so she dedicates her life to learning. And I've learned so much from her. I always get so emotional when I talk about my parents. I've learned so much from her in ways that I think she won't yet understand, that I don't understand. I'm a mother, right? I teach my kids. When I was younger, I used to teach my bears in my room. You did too? Yes, I did. Yes.
I get goosebumps now.
Do we have that in common? I don't even know why I just shared this.
I had boardroom meetings with them and circling them around me, and then have actual meetings. And I was the guide, so I was like, sorry, but
that's wild. So much. So that also gives me goosebumps because I have no idea why I shared that, because I've never publicly shared that I've taught my bears in my room. Right?
I'm glad that you did that, but I had it too, and it made me less lonely also.
Yeah. Hopefully, someone hearing this also taught their bears. This is something that my mom is. It's just teaching others. I think that's the principle there. My dad, entrepreneur himself, went to business school, literally took the whole family to Michigan. So left everything that we had in Maryland, was like, you know what, I'm going to become a broke student now. Took like his entire family with him. We were living in University of Michigan housing, met a lot of great people there. My mom continued to teach there. But basically he had like this hustle that he was like, I'm going to do this. So the business school, check. Came out of business school, did a lot of like investment banking here and there, and then realized like, no, I'm going to start something for myself. So I've seen a lot of highs with his journey, but definitely a lot of lows. And that's why initially I thought that I didn't want to do this for myself, because those lows, behavioral, right? So like looking at it from the psychological standpoint, that's all I could really remember until I had this pause, like time of reflection, where I was like, but wait a minute. We also had a lot of highs. He had a lot of success, but I only focus on the lows because of how they impacted maybe me not going to the spring break or like whatever, like something so insignificant now, but made a huge impact then as a child. So a lot of people around me were just getting things done. His mom immigrated from Haiti to the United States. So there's also that where she had to start over. She was like a successful nurse, and then she had to start over again. So it's like everyone in my journey I've seen create something beautiful. And now it's my turn.
It's okay.
Feels good. Happy tears.
Happy tears.
Happy tears, yeah. Every now and then you have to just reflect. And I'm just so grateful to have had that representation, like those examples for me. Because honestly, that's what keeps me going. Because sometimes, you know, I have had a lot of success in the last couple of months starting the company. And I am reflecting now, even like, how is this happening? Where like these people around me want to help me, right? And then I think, oh yeah, They want to help me because I want to help them. Also, it's a two-way, because they were there in maybe their journey, or they see something in me, but it's great. It's a tremendous feeling being able to help others, but also being helped, and then knowing that you need help. So the way that I even got introduced to the circles that I'm in now, we're just asking for help. And it's in the beginning. So you talk about like the things that I don't know, and to keep that kind of humble spirit. I hope I always reflect. I always see that mirrored view of, I may be the only one, but I'm doing it. I'm keeping, like, I'm going, and there are so many other people like wanting me to succeed. And that's what I focus on. So not necessarily the negativity, but the ones who really want to see me succeed. And I'm surrounding myself around the people who I also want to see succeed. And that helps me, like, just...
It fuels you.
It fuels me, because we all can get there together. And the ones who say that I'm successful now are the ones who I want, like, who see me as success, and then I see, like, them as success, right? And so it's like this beautiful continuum that's just allowing me to keep going, because I know, like, how great this can be. This will be.
And this already is. Why do you think people want to help you?
I don't know. I have some
try to unpack that.
Some thesis.
yeah, and be open about it, because
I think people want to help me because I want to be helped. I don't mind help. I don't mind saying I don't know, and I genuinely want their help, right? So if I ask my advisor a question, I don't ask it because I'm not going to take it. So just as you were saying, with you speaking to Walter, and Walter said, like, talk to Alexandra. You didn't say, okay, like, send me her resume and I'll take a look, right? You just
didn't
were like,
even cross my mind. Trust me.
And this is just the environment. Success breeds success. I want to surround myself with success. And you can be successful in business, but you can also be successful in life in general. And for me, my quality of life is made better helping other people. So all of my accolades, like, it's important, but it's not significant. What helps me be helped, is the people around me who perhaps see that.
See what?
Oh, you keep diving in. See that I'm open for help. Like, it's okay. I even the juniors that I used to mentor within corporate, I always could see a link, and perhaps maybe the ones who are helping me see that too. I can always shine light on what they do best and just keep pushing that. And I think we talked about that a little bit offline. But it's almost like one of my superpowers, where I see in the person something that either they have seen but they don't tap into, like I think that they should, or in a situation where they're talking about something, I'm like, wait a minute, but didn't you say you did? And I remind them that they've already done it, or that they can do it, and that propels them.
I'm thinking about your answer, and there's no right or wrong, so we never know exactly why.
No.
If you ask me the question, why do you think? If you would have asked me the question, and now I'm asking myself the question deliberately, of course, because I'm going to answer the question, why do you think, Alexandra, relatively easily gets help from serious level people? You do.
I know
Sorry?
I know that, and I think every single one.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not. You are grateful, but is besides your beaming curiosity, but yeah, you can be also easily annoying curious, right? like a 2-year-old. Why this? Why that? Why not?
I have a 4-year-old, so it tracks.
Ja. Nee, no, 2 is more no, hè? Ik ben nee en ik zeg 2. Nee, ik ben 2 en ik zeg nee. No, back to... But I really believe in the feeling of genuine energy. And Walter and I am going in a call only coming Monday, business related, for the very first time. We never had that. We instantly clicked at one of the events on genuine energy level. Only to, of course, understand, oh, you're a revenue architect. Hey, I'm working at Unium. He was the heading the commercial department. And but it's I really believe connecting on a genuine energy level to help moving people forward. And that to help me moving people forward, cut it off, then it's only the genuine energy which is the connector, I believe. And then, yes, you are helping, and yes, I believe why you're doing what you're doing, but it's the genuine energy. That's what I see in your post also. It's you want to be part of what you are trying to achieve, you know? And so I believe that's my answer to the why.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
So we have now a little bit more understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. You are a really early stage startup founder, figuring out ICP, go-to-market, and everything. If you imagine on the customer side, where would they be most happy with working with Onboardly?
Where would the customer be most happy working with Onboardly? In the process, in the sales cycle?
Yeah.
I think the customer would be most happy working with Onboardly at that very fine line between pre and post sale. So right in the middle, right at the end, but like the middle of the line, where the trust is formed. And if you send something too automated, it's broken. So if you think of it as like a motion, a moving piece, then I would say that the best place for Onboardly to be is as soon as you get that, yes, we're on board, we're happy, send me the documents, right? And then Onboardly is already there with everything you need in terms of your communications to make sure that it's stored, accessible, and transparent for your internal team, but also for your customer.
That's the spot.
That's the sweet spot.
Hey, and looking forward, 24 months is not possible in the stage where you are. At least, of course, we can try to imagine. We have a big dream. We have a BHAG. But let's say what's ahead for the coming 3-4 months, which is important for your company, and is there also maybe in that a sort of critical ask?
Well, I can start with the flight that I've already booked, and that is to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Ooh, cool.
For Friday. So
Coming Friday?
Coming Friday.
No.
Yes.
Oh, wow. First time?
First time in Vietnam, but not the first time in Southeast Asia. So same, but different, very different, because I'm also not going for pleasure, I'm going for business. So I've decided to join Antlers program.
Yes.
So I will become an entrepreneur in residence. So that's for the short horizon, one of the focuses.
Wow. But help me understand, why then Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam? What's the logic behind that? What are you going to do there?
So I initially, let's start at zero. So my husband works for a very known company here in the Netherlands, and there was a position that was going to be made available with basically the same, so business line director, but then in Ho Chi Minh. So we thought that we would be packing our bags soon for Ho Chi Minh, and me just always looking 5 steps ahead. I was looking at what I could potentially be doing in Ho Chi Minh. And that's when, So I started to think about the startup ecosystem there. And also I was in a boot camp, so a builder's boot camp. It's Builders is a venture studio in Rotterdam.
Yes.
And I was in this boot camp where you meet 4 Saturdays in a row. So it's just to be with other builders and think about really cool things and validate. Mm-hmm. And one of the other builders who joined the boot camp program had just talked about how he went to this part of the world and had a fantastic time. And the place that stuck out to him the most was Vietnam. And I was like, what? And he didn't even know that my husband was going to apply for this job or anything. And so we started talking about Vietnam and the startup ecosystem there, and he got me super excited. So literally that night, without even knowing if my husband was going to get this job or not moving across the country, I just decided, let me just apply, because what's the worst that could happen? The worst is a no. And then the best is a yes. And then we both have something to do when we're in Ho Chi Minh. I didn't realize how fast that everything would go with me applying to the program, to the first call, to the second call with the partner, being on the call, literally saying, this is a no-brainer, and sending me the contract 30 minutes later. It was a very fast process, but it felt right. Yeah.
Jaw-dropping face I had. So for how long is this?
Yeah, so I'm heading there initially at least for 6 weeks. The Entrepreneur in Residence program is 6 weeks, and then of course if you go to the investment committee and you accept funding, then who knows? I'm kind of taking it like day by day, but one thing to mention here is that my husband did not take the role in Ho Chi Minh. So I'm going by myself for a period of time, and then he's going to fly in with the kids. But this is something that's new, outside of my comfort zone. But every single time that I step outside my comfort zone, I'm immediately like opening doors and like level up 3 times as fast. So that's the excitement that comes from this piece.
Holy. You're actually going to do this.
Yeah.
And coming Friday, you're leaving.
Friday, I'm leaving. Saturday, I arrive. So it's quite a long journey, but I am ready for it all and super excited. The warm messages that I've gotten from the Antler team, I posted just recently that I will be joining. The feedback that I've gotten from other Antler founders, like within the program, ones that were backed and ones that just enjoyed the experience, has been overwhelming. And I was on a boat recently for Founders Mesh. It's also a community that helps founders. I was on a boat just for women founders, and on that boat, I met a founder who is backed by Antler Amsterdam. And she had no idea, of course, so we were just doing like introductions, and she introduced herself and mentioned Antler, and she was sitting right next to me. And so that all of these like spontaneous serendipitous moments, they're all for a reason, for a purpose. And this is how I know I'm in the right place at the right time, always. It feels, I've just embraced it as my new normal. Me being here in this chair talking about speaking to my bears, right? Like, come on. How am I supposed to know you all spoke to your bears, right? Me sitting on a boat with someone next to me who was Antler backed. Me having a call from someone who did Antler Dubai. And he's prepping me out of his own time, sending me the spreadsheet that he used to use, to get to know all the other founders, to see who he could pair with. Like, everyone wants to help me. This is my new normal. It feels amazing, but it's also, it's now my time to give back. So this is why people call me a super connector. I think I just do it because it feels good that so many people want to help me. I want to help other people as well. So coin me as super connector. I'm coining me as, I see that you will be successful. I know that if I introduce you to this person, you will be successful or quicker maybe. You will learn something from this person. Use it, don't use it, but at least you have the opportunity to learn. And I think that that makes you successful in itself, but that's just my philosophy. But it's incredible. So yes, on Friday, I don't know 24 months from now, but a couple of days from now, I will be flying to Ho Chi Minh to start my journey with Antler.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Excited to join.
Yeah, I can imagine. One of my best friends, he's now heading to Ho Chi Minh City. And he's well connected in the startup and scale-up industry, and also investor. And so maybe I can connect you to him. He will be around there in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand for 6 weeks, the coming 6 weeks. And
the coming 6 weeks?
Yeah.
The precise exact the exact amount of time that I'm going to be there.
Cultivating serendipity, right? Do you believe in cultivating? Do you believe serendipity is cultivatable?
I know that you have to work towards things in order for things to happen serendipitously. So you can't just like sit in your room and do nothing. But can you tell me a little bit about what you mean by cultivating?
Well, I don't see cultivating as necessarily doing something. It's creating.
Is it?
Does that have to do with creating? Is not always doing. Energy and sometimes you get drawn towards a certain direction, and by being drawn, you draw other people towards it. And the friend I'm mentioning, he is always willing to help, support, opening, leveraging network on serious level. He was one day 13 years managing director of Deloitte India. So he made it very big because they started with him. And so he's very open for an introduction.
Let's have a chat.
And but I believe in cultivating. For me, the definition of cultivating is allowing it to happen. And not necessarily always doing, but also by being. And energy attracts. Energy attracts. That's what I know. That's what happened with Walter and me. That's what happened with Walter introducing you to me. You have to talk. It was really short. And I was like, okay, I can ask a ton of questions, yet I don't. I'll say, do me an intro because that works faster. And that's it. And now we're sitting here. I have one last question. If you have to mention 3 things where you are most proud of right now, what are those 3 things?
3 things that I'm most proud of.
About yourself.
About myself. About myself. I almost never talk about myself. It's a hard one to sometimes self-reflect.
Without the inner critic?
Without being critical, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you...
Without what am I through, like that I'm doing wrong right in this moment. Those are easier to come. So 3 things that I'm proud of for myself. Like I I still, like, I'm a family. So creating life, that's something that I did. And so my 3 boys are one of my most, like, proud accomplishments. So they always come first. I think that the second thing I'm most proud about is betting on myself to begin a company, because it's not easy. I'm already finding that out very early in the journey, and it'll only get harder. As you mentioned, I don't have a department that I can go to for everything that I need a subject matter expert for. Sometimes that subject matter expert is from my own experience or leveraging my advisors or the small team that I've created around me. But nevertheless, I still took the bet on myself. I'm proud of that. And the third one in this moment, being proud of, is taking the opportunity to, and it kind of stems on my relationships, but keeping an open perspective to this energy that you're talking about. It's a difficult one because it's something that I can't always put into words. So when you say cultivating it, I think that that's the form of non-words that I can't describe it. And I'm proud that I'm in the position to be able to be a part of it. That empowers me, that allows me to keep going. So proud mom, proud now CEO of my own company, really helping others, helping businesses create more value.
Building trust. Across the buying journey.
Across the buyer's journey.
Actually deliver on promise.
Promise the product.
Boom.
And 3, just enjoying the ride.
Just being you. Alexandra, you're a champ of empowerment.
Michiel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best in the journey ahead. Extreme self-care without being, say what? Selfish. That's what I wish for you.
Thank you.
Everything will fall in place. Keep the faith. Keep the trust. Keep being you. Promise?
Promise.
Otherwise, you can book me as your accountability, not on your GTM, not on everything, just to keep you accountable to be you.
Thank you.
On monthly base. And I'm not selling it. It's just, of course, on my website, but keeping you accountable for you being you. Keep that energy. Keep that energy flowing. Keep sharing. Keep building. Keep being you. Right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Journeys of Empowerment is more than a podcast. It's a circle of belonging. Here stories become turning points and the ripples go far beyond a single episode. If this conversation moved something in you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Because sometimes one story is all it takes. Keep listening to what matters. Keep going and keep being you.